Morning to Marley Kayden.
And good morning to you, Pete. Things are looking very good on your roads. Everything moving along nicely. No accidents to contend with, but lots of events to take part in today. So let's talk about how to get to them. CTA has added longer trains and added service for you on your red, blue, pink, and green lines. And Pitchfork happening today. Weather hopefully will not affect it. Free bike valet is available to you at the Goose Island Tap Room, and that has security at 1800 West Fulton. So that's a great option since we hopefully won't be seeing any rain today. And there's Pitchfork, so you do need to look out for added congestion on Ashland and staging between Washington and Lake. For that, we did see a lot of congestion in the area. Other big event today, the Rock and Roll Half Marathon, starting at 6:30, and we have rolling closures kicking off at 6 o'clock. Let's just take a quick look at your race route. Starting in Grant Park, you're going to head north as far as Grand, then we'll head out all the way west over to Des Plaines, heading south to 31st and following up Lakeshore Drive. To avoid all of this together, Halstead is your alternate. Michelle and Susan.
Marley, thank you. Coming up for us
So much, Pete. 5:46 on this Sunday morning, and things are looking great on your roads. There is one very large piece of construction you do need to look out for, though, affecting the Dan Ryan. It's on your inbound trip, all because of this Englewood flyover project. Between 79th and 69th, all traffic will be diverted down to one express lane. So that means that your locals and your on-ramps through that stretch are all closed. Just that one express lane in place until 9 o'clock this morning. So we will really start to see some congested traffic as we approach that 7-8 o'clock hour and things really pick up on your roads. Also some CTA work, Brown Line trains between Fullerton and downtown heading back down onto those Red Line subway tracks. This is a popular weekend construction most of you probably familiar with. And another one, orange and pink lines bypassing Van Buren today. Trains are operating, just not stopping at that LaSalle Van Buren station. Now another reminder, yesterday we talked about how those excessive heat and excessive cold can affect your roads. Hawthorne Woods very affected. A major road there, Diamond Lake Road, is closed indefinitely between Gilmer and Route 60 because the pavement collapsed due to the heat. So this is in place indefinitely until they get it repaired. Route 83 will be your alternate for this. Also, Rock and Roll Half Marathon starting at 6:30. Most of these closures in effect already. They'll be in place for you until 11:30. So look out for rolling closures through the entire loop area. Susan?
Thanks, Marley.
This morning, just a small delay here on the inbound Ryan because of that construction between 79th and 69th, but a little issue on the CTA. Loop-bound Brown Line trains running with some major delays after mechanical problems at Kimball. And don't forget about that construction on the Brown Line with everything Fullerton to downtown on the Red Line subway tracks. But let's talk about the big series of road closures today. They're all for the Rock and Roll Half Marathon, which starts in about 10 minutes at 6:30, and those rolling closures go until 11:30. So here's your route. We're starting in Grant Park, going as far north as Grand, going out west all the way over to Des Plaines, coming back into the loop, heading south on Michigan, hopping up Lakeshore Drive to close in Grant Park. Those closures will reopen as the runners run by, but if you're trying to avoid this and you're traveling south of Congress, State Street is a good north-south alternate, or if you want to stay away from the route entirely, Halstead over to the west. Susan?
Good information. Thank you so much, Marley.
Your road's still looking great this morning. No major accidents to contend with. Just a little slow stretch here because of that construction on the inbound Ryan. But I do want to jump to our big traffic thing right now, happening right now, the Rock and Roll Half Marathon. It started at 6:30 with that 5K at 7:30, but these road closures are in effect until 11:30. Now, I had somebody ask me, why could it possibly go until 11:30? Well, 18,000 runners and walkers you are allowed to walk, so these will roll through. You're starting and ending in Grant Park, heading north all the way up to Grand. This stretch mostly finished now as people now heading west out to Des Plaines, coming back into the loop, south on Michigan to 31st, and then coming back up Lakeshore. So between 9 and 11, those closures will be on Lakeshore. That's where they'll be. So if you want to head north-south, State Street is a good option for you if you're south of Congress. And if you want to stay away from the race route altogether, Halstead is your option. Susan and Michelle?
Thanks, Marley.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you at 8 o'clock.